Big legend, homie.
Miss I Speak Life.
Testing one, two.
Testing 1 2 1 2. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am wonderful. There we
That's
go.
good.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing today? This is the real deal versus how you feel. Hope everybody's having a wonderful hump day because it is Wednesday, right? So
That it is. I almost forgot today was Wednesday. I did forget today was Wednesday, rather.
you're always forgetting every time it's a certain day. What you got going on in your life? What you don't know what's going on out here in these streets?
I don't know. It's not so much I don't know what's going on in the streets. I just didn't know what the day was. You know, when you have the luxury and pleasure of working from home, sometimes.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Because the pleasure
Yeah.
of working from home, you'd be like, oh
Sometimes the
yeah.
days collide.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it is a new day, you know?
I
So,
mean,
yeah,
personally,
I just had one of those moments.
I feel you. Personally, for me, for like it's the weekend all the time. Like, oh, I forgot today. The convenience of working from home
Mhm.
is a wonderful thing, and I will never take that away. Some people need to be around other people. Kudos to them, but me, I like being in my own space.
Right.
Right, but definitely a but. But me personally, I like to be home in my comfort space. I don't know about fighting where to sit at, dealing with fake people, none of that stuff. But anywho,
Traffic.
traffic,
Now,
yeah.
mind you, I do have to still, every day I take a ride. You know, I have to get out and still go get some fresh air, go grab my latte. So, you know, I go to the water. I have to do that on a daily basis.
Okay.
But I had a meeting today. That's a standing meeting, Wednesday meeting. I just didn't realize today was Wednesday. Like, oh, you're right. My supervisor hit me up like, oh, ma'am, are you okay? Why weren't you in the meeting? What meeting? I thought because we have 2 weekly meetings. One isn't mandatory, one is. I was like, I didn't even know you were taking attendance for Tuesday meetings. What you talking about? She was like, yeah, but that's true because today's Wednesday. I was looking for you. I was like, oh, my bad. You right.
You're right. You're like, oh yeah, today is Wednesday. So I did miss the
Mhm.
so I did miss both of them.
Right. I
Technically.
just both meetings.
Right, you missed both meetings because you thought
So,
today was another day. Like, okay, I'll go to the next one. Realize, oh shit.
but I did attend 2 meetings this week as well. So I was like, you're right, my bad. You know, I had already apologized for missing the meeting, even though I didn't even think it was the mandatory one. But, you know, she'd be looking for my input and stuff. So I was like, my bad. You know,
It's all right. We human. We human.
yeah.
We all trying to figure these things out now. This new work from home life is totally different and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
thanks for
so
into.
we here.
Yeah, we here. We definitely here. You know, thanks for
It's the
tuning in
real
today.
deal.
Yes, this is the real deal
Mm-hmm.
versus how you feel. And as you see, the topic today is how important is education? And
How important is education?
and I believe this might be like a continuation from the conversation we had on Monday, right? May not be, but I'm trying to get a little feel for it. 'Cause I know we talked about a little bit of it on Monday's episode, and we was talking about how is your education benefit to your community, right? Meaning, what are you doing with it? It's good to get education,
Mm-hmm.
but are you doing anything that's going to benefit not just yourself, but other people that you may be surrounding yourself with? But that's what I thought about when I saw the topic. Of course, I have other information to add to it as well. But Miss I Speak Life, what do you think about it?
Yes. this topic, and again, guys, welcome to the Real Deal versus How You Feel with Ms. I Speak Life and Twinsinc. This conversation was definitely, or this topic rather, was definitely a spin from Monday's discussion when I quoted Steph the Dark Child and his statement toward women obtaining a degree, but then not really having the degree obtained be a benefit to the community, or it's a degree in things that don't benefit the community. So, and that's a two part, right? The
Okay.
education they obtain, they have it, but then they move out of the community with it, or X, Y, Z. They're not using it to assist or elevate or, move the community forward, I think was the word he used. And then on the second part is that they're getting degrees that just don't, couldn't help the community, even if it, if they did obtain it. It's just a pointless degree, let's just say.
Right.
And that sounds really crazy, so I don't want to be quoted for saying that, but that's the energy behind having this education and doing nothing with it, basically.
Okay. Okay. And the kind of piggyback of the end statement, what you said, there's some people out there who get these degrees that are kind of useless. The number one degree, the number one
We
degree
can't
out.
call nobody useless.
I'm not saying they're useless, but I'm saying the degree is useless. So people,
Well, okay.
if you go into college, a 4-year institute where you're paying hundreds of $1,000s to go to school each year or per quarter, whatever it may be, and you go for business administration, that is a waste. That is a complete. I mean, yes, it's gonna give you some. It's gonna give you some tools and resources to know more about in depth of
For
starting
the
a business.
community is the way.
But
So for them, it's going to get them a mid salary.
facts, facts. That's all it's gonna get you. It's not gonna get you no vice president or president or anything like that. It's gonna get you as a mid, just above average, just above average pay going forward working in corporate America. Like I said, it's not really put a knock to it, but when you go for these degrees, ladies and gentlemen, what is the long term? The short term goal is to go to college. That's short term goal for everybody. But the long term goal is, what is the major? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? Am I going to something that I can do for free? Is it going to be a passion? Is it going to help you out personally and also the people around you? If someone else is going to be able to benefit off the hard labor and work that you did to get yourself to a certain level, or are you just going for self-title, right?
Or pressure. Don't forget that, because that's another part. Some people went to college because they were the first, they were the only one able to, right? They had a good enough grades to actually get into a college,
Right.
or they had, so they would be the first ones. You can't let us down. You got to do it. Person don't even really care for college, don't want to do college, want to do music or some other form of art, let's just say, but they don't want to let the family down. So then they go into school with all this pressure and they say, well, let me just choose something simple or something, and I don't want to call it simple, but something that I can definitely accomplish, right? I can definitely finish. So the pressure is another one of those to note to the list you just went over,
Right. And
because some people are just going for the sake of saying they got it.
right, some people just going to a certain college just so, I went to Ohio State, I went to Michigan State, University of Pittsburgh, Ohio State. It's all about the U, right? Just because of the big names, right? Just because of the big name, USC, right? Which is nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, we all have our favorite college team that we want to go to, play to, whatever. I get that part. So, but before we jump off the deep end, I'm not saying that we are, but let's level set it for a minute. And this is what Google says: the importance of having education. Right? It says
Mm-hmm.
it helps people to become better citizens, get a better paid job, show the difference between good and bad. Education shows us the importance of hard work and at the same time help us grow and develop. Thus, we are able to shape a better society to live in by knowing and respecting right laws and regulations. All that sounds good. It sounds good. Um, but yes, before I go anything, go deeper. Anything you want to add to that or say, Miss I Speak Life?
No, no, that's it. I mean, can't say much more there.
So I mean, overall, I mean, those things have some good, pros and cons. I'm not going to say it's correctly across the board because you know,
Mm-mm.
it
I ain't
says
got nothing to add, but
it says it helps people become. First off, let's go back one more layer. One more layer. So I have a college.
wait,
Go ahead.
when you was reading it, I was just like,
Right,
okay.
right. So
No.
let's go back a layer. I am a college graduate, so I have a degree in information technology. So I went to college. I went this route. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. So I'm not
I as well. I'm a Rutgers student. I mean, I've graduated from an institution as well too, but that's another part when we get into solutions.
right, right. So we're not coming to a point as we're not speaking as if we're not educated ourselves is what we're getting at. So we both went to college and got our degrees, certificates, whatever to improve ourselves, right? But going back and looking at it is like knowing what I know now, I probably would have did something maybe a little different or added something additional on. Just just looking back now, because you don't know these things until you actually live through the experience, right? So, but like I was saying, as I was reading through this little open monologue here about the importance of education, it says it helps people become better citizens. So right there, I'm like, I don't think so. I really don't believe so. I mean, people been going to college for and because we didn't say college. This is education period. So this could be high school, college, and so beyond from there, right? So just being educated, just looking at history, people that are educated don't necessarily make the right decisions. Not saying people are stupid, don't. I'm just saying, just you look at people who make decisions for the world, laws are being passed. These are supposed to be educated people, right? But when you make the decision, I don't think we have good rules and regulations that they say here that makes better citizens. So help me understand that part. You understand what I'm saying, Miss I Speak Life?
Yeah, I understand. And I think that's where, how this topic even came about because
Hmm.
we kind of touched on that, you know? Like, so that's what this is saying. This entire thing is like, okay, it needs to make more sense.
Right. And then it says to get better paid jobs. That's that right there may be a myth. So you having a degree does give you. So if you had somebody's resume, they have two people: one person who went to college, one person who didn't go to college, right? And
Hmm.
both people, neither one have any connections, right? Neither one of the people have any
Hmm.
connection where they're going for the same position, but neither one of them have connections into getting this position. So guess what? They're both on the same playing field, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so one educated, one one got. I'll just say this: one got a bachelor's, one just got a high school diploma. Leave it right there. Okay, so everybody's clear what's going on. They're going for the same job. They both interview. They both kill it. But now they got to sit there and pick of which person they're going to hire for the position, right? Now, most positions start off, oh, we start positions that between 60,000 to 80,000, right? That's the mid range. So once you get hired or get to the next process, then you can do that negotiation part, right? Okay, y'all still with me? So
Hmm.
now the company has a budget now. Now they do say they're gonna offer between 60 to 80,000 though, but 9 out of 10 times, no one ever gets that $80,000 starting out the gate, especially when they don't know nobody. Right now, if they knew somebody, different story. But I'm talking about two people coming in, don't know nobody in the company, but both interview, got to the second layer. So you would think the person who has a degree may get hired with the person who don't have the degree. The funny thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to school for 4, 8 years, whatever, get a degree, right, to get skilled. But guess what? Most jobs, most jobs have what? Paid training. So if you're if you're teachable, right, and you're able to learn, they may very well go with the person who has no college degree but wants a job. You know why? Because they're more hungry, they're more willing to learn, right? Whereas a person who went to college, got the degree, they want like, okay, I want that 80,000 because I have the accolades, I got the degree, and da 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 da. And they're like, well, yes, you do have that. So it really comes down to an interview, but 9 out of 10 times they usually go with the person who doesn't have the degree because they can hire them and pay them less money.
Especially if you think about it. And it's not that they're wrong for that. It's no different than
Mm-mm.
any other type of discernment you make. Because if this person could have the qualities that this person who went to college for 4 years have without whatever it is college has to offer, because unless the position was aligned with that person's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and in this case, it, really, you didn't say in particular, um, then what matters is who could, where's that 7% of who's going to do the job and compromising, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it.
easy. Like I'm not gonna have to deal with no attitude or no entitlement.
Yes.
And
Yes.
not only that, then you have the people. I could start this person on the lower end
Mm-hmm.
of the scale because they don't have a degree, and then I have a person that's going to probably be here longer because they're going to want to scale this position
Mm-hmm.
to get their education by way or learn more by way
Mm-hmm.
of the training that we offer. So
Right.
now I have a person that's going to be here for 4, 8, 10, 12 years opposed to someone who's just trying to get another line on their resume.
Facts. Facts. Everything she said, ladies and gentlemen, is completely facts. And this is, like I said, this applies to people who don't know someone in the business. Now, when the same scenario, if the person with a degree knows someone in the business, they're already set up because their friend gonna recommend them in. They gonna get that 80,000 out the gate, blah blah blah, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. But when you look at two people who don't have no connections, what Miss I Speak Life just said is an accurate statement. I work in corporate America. I've seen it. I've never done it,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen it, and it's sad, but it's true. So you walk around
Yeah,
here. Go ahead, Miss I Speak Life. Go ahead.
but the thing is it even sad though? Because if you think about education, and you're going after a position that's not along the lines of your major, and most people know when you're going to school, if you're going to be in a major, you need to intern, you need to be networking. So
Yes. Yes.
that's a part of it. That's a part of the whole point of being on a campus, opposed to someone who doesn't make it to a campus. You have access to countless opportunities. That high school person making it for the same position you making it without all of those opportunities, I think they might deserve it or deserve a shot. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
And
then if the energy or you both slam and they're able to slam the interview process without all of those other pieces, because if we be honest, college is not just the book. We
no.
know what that's like. We all went through high school.
Mm-hmm.
What colleges is and how colleges is different than high school is because of the door being unlocked to opportunity.
Facts.
You got your fraternities and sororities, right? That's a whole class of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have all of the different organizations you can be a part of. So things that really matter to you, liberal arts, this, that, and the third, Black Association, this one. You have access, unlimited access to a diversity, and I'm not talking about culture, skin, whatever. I'm talking about just opportunity, right? Okay, it could be music. You can find a club that does a little bit of everything. You got a club that just want to sit and meditate.
True.
Right?
Right.
So that's the access that a person who does 4 whole years of education gets in addition to the education. So they do come with a sense of entitlement, but most times they don't know how to scale the opportunities that they're open to on college. That's one of the things we try to help, when working in higher education.
Right.
We try to help youth understand. That's why I teach my son the way I teach him, because I have that bit of information from being in higher education and being on a college campus, knowing and being on the other end of that, during the interview process.
Right. So. And then also the kind of pick about what you said, when people do go to college, right, and they join these fraternities, they making connections with people in these fraternities, and You may come in as a freshman in that fraternity, but you get to meet everyone from freshman, sophomore, senior, junior, all that,
All of the
whatever.
upper class.
So with
Mhm.
that being said, if you're able to get in as a freshman and you're able to build a good relationship with the senior or maybe a sophomore, someone 1 year ahead of you who has a job already lined up, and guess what? If you got good connections, they can bring you right with them when they go to their new job, right? Because of the
Mhm.
connections compared to the person who didn't go to college and has no connections, but they're more hungrier. You know what I'm saying? They're more hungry to learn and take whatever they get. They just want to get their foot in the door. There's some people out there who can get their foot in the door and they can climb the ladder like that. All they need is one little opportunity. I know someone in my company who started out in the mailroom, right? But now they're a vice president in the company. They got their foot in the door and worked their way all the way up. Will it take time? Yes. Nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you know somebody, you'll never become a millionaire right out of high school. Unless you know somebody. It's just that simple. You can have a PhD, you can have a master's, all those things, because first off, you're gonna rank out a lot of debt getting that degree. That's number one. That's number one. Then number two, when you get a job, like I said, unless you know somebody in a higher position is gonna get you in the front door, you're gonna be in your debt ratio is not gonna be looking really nice at all. So the thing you can come out of
Mm.
college and become a millionaire out the gate, you can pay $200,000 per year out of fresh out of college. Good luck with that. Good luck at that. Does it
And that's
happen?
male or female.
Yes, male or female. Good luck with that. Does it happen? Yes. I'm not trying to crush nobody's dreams. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Does it happen? Yes. But those people who do walk out the gate and get those high paying jobs, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's a real statement in corporate America. So if you're in college,
That's a real thing. Right.
yeah, in
Mm.
life, yes. So if you went to college and you've been in fraternities and you have not networked or know anybody, and now you come to this position and you don't know nobody in the company, why should I pick you where you went to a college, got your degree, worked hard for it, congratulations, but you didn't make any connections? So that tells me what kind of people person are you? How are you going to work and gel with the
Mm.
team that I have in my company? Or are you just here just so you can get a notch on your belt to say, okay, I worked this company for a year, then I went to another company, worked there for a year, just so you can get the experience, right? Because most people, when most companies, when they hire you, they're looking to keep you long term. They're investing into you. Like
Mhm.
like most companies, they really don't make money at their employees at least by year two if they stay that long. Most people don't make it past the first year. So the person who
Right.
has no degree and he's hungry, he's going to fight his butt tooth and nail to stay with the company and grow, and that might be a better opportunity. Not always true. I'm just giving it real because that's what we do over here.
No, but there's a lot of truth in it. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't apply to all, but certainly to enough for it to be a majority, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And when Sister Dark Child said that, however long ago it was, by this point I don't know, but like I said before, it stayed with me because, um, again, if what you're doing isn't beneficial to you and the community, why are you doing it? And it goes to the pressures, the white noise, or what's the intent behind the education, right? So when you twins, we've been in conversations where men are now saying, "I don't care about," openly saying it. Where so you would not ever hear a man say, "I don't care about your education." That's not what Daddy's going to tell you. Daddy tells you to go to school, get that degree for me. As a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was. So to hear him saying, I don't care about the education or how much money you make, but at the same time, they do care because if you don't care about that woman's education, how do you want her to stay home and homeschool your kids? Think about it. So it's not making sense. And I don't think it's being fully thought of. It's just reactive. I don't care about how much money you make. I don't care about the education. Da, 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 as a reaction to their pride being, a trigger word happening right before or whatever. But we really have to think about it and just dispel stupid stuff that is coming our way and not subscribe to it. For real, for real. Because if the woman's education did matter, how could it not matter? Really? It has to. What is the purpose of her being educated though? And what type of education um should she seek after? And I'm not talking about those individual, the whatever percentage of women are out there who just, their intentions are not family. Their intentions, that's a different population. I'm not speaking to that population of folks.
Right.
I'm speaking to the population of folks who their intentions is to have family and marriage, and they talk about wanting relationships, etc. If you don't fall into that category, the best to you, it just it's not a good, bad, or indifferent. It just has nothing to do with you. So for those people who do say, I want to be in a relationship, and we hear those people complaining. It's not the people that don't want to be with somebody that we hear complaining.
Mm-hmm.
We hear people that claim to want to be in a relationship and have been burnt or scorned or hurt in some which way and feel like now they're on a mission to do X, Y, Z, or I don't care about X, Y, Z. But if you actually just do the self-research and healing, what you desired from the beginning should not change. You just don't desire it with that person.
Right.
You'd be able to then stop. You'll be able to see that person for a person, one, and not a general, like all, but because sometimes hurt definitely clouds our judgment and everything like that, it doesn't really work that way. And it doesn't help that society, pushes so many negative narratives about, the opposite sexes. So you have to really be strong-willed and really decide that this is what you want. And then when that happens, you go for what you want. But guys, please let's stop saying I don't care about her education or how much money she makes, because you want that woman to be able to manage money because you want to trust her with your money. You want that woman to be able to be educated because you want her to educate your children. You don't want her to be I can't say it, but you don't want her to be disrespectful, and you want her to be compliant. Just say that. That's all. If I speak out, I'm over and out. That's it.
Yep. No, I understand what you're saying completely. And they say here with education, it shows the difference between good and bad, meaning good people and bad people. No, it doesn't. That doesn't help neither. It doesn't help L. So, to kind of continue what you were saying about, the relationship part when it comes to the education. As far as I'm gonna speak for men because I'm a man myself, so I can't speak for the women, but for the man, when most men say that we don't really care about the woman's education, that only applies to a situation where, if I ask you, for example, what do you bring to the table? You telling me that you're educated, all these other things, that doesn't. Okay, it's cool that you're educated, but that's not a check mark. Like, okay, she's wifey material. Like, yes, are you educated? Yes. I don't want to be with a dummy. Are you educated? Cool, but that can't be your top notches of life accomplishments when I'm trying to be in a relationship with you. You telling me that I'm a PhD or I have a master's. Okay, and how's that going to bring any value into this relationship? How's that going to be value to the community? How's that going to matter? Because
it matters when she has to be the stay-at-home mom to educate those children.
See, right there, like you said that. It will help out when she's home and have to be, it depends though. Did she go to school for education or do you go to school for something else? Because you
don't have to go to school for education. Any degree, and this is what I'm saying, make sure that when you do choose a degree or whatever it is, that is something that's for you. It's your passion. It's not based on something that is going to just be a notch on the belt or a line on the resume. Because then there's no benefit in that, really. Not for you. You're not going to want to teach children. You're not even going to connect on that way because it's something you didn't really want for yourself. That doesn't last long.
Right.
So when you say, part of the vetting process should be, is she educated? You want her to have an education. Mm-hmm. You want her to have a good means. But when I feel when that word is said or when that response is said, it's reaction to a woman using that as a weapon versus this is just something that makes sense because I know you're going to want this. You don't want me to use it as a weapon,
right?
But I know you would want it.
Yes, that's it right there. You explained it very detailed and very clear. because that's what happened. They use that as a weapon, and like that's not good. But yes, but
Right.
listen,
Because you don't feel it's not a shot. It's not a bullet. It's an empty gun at that point.
right.
But see, what's not happening is the proper context when the narrative is pushed forward.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, you had a conversation with a woman who used her education and her accolades as a weapon, right? And you felt like, well, that's the empty bullet. But then when you go to address it in another space with another woman, you start as if that woman got an empty bullet. Whenever you hear it, and that's the problem that I'm having, because then you cheated that other person out of a chance to just be, be excited about their accomplishments and wanting to help, take their accomplishments and make it make sense. Because now they're in defense mode. So it's like a cycle. We just got to stop the cycle, and how we respond versus, or how we react versus respond. We can't be so reactive to things, because the temperament of society is saying all women want a high value man right now. So you're not using good discernment if you just approach every woman like she want a high value man based on what somebody else said, not even based on what you said. That's the crazy thing.
Got you.
So yeah, we just got to not be reactive.
Right. So I want to piggyback something you said earlier. Like you said, yes, her being educated, you want her to be educated once she's home and raising these kids, right? Right? So you said something like that
Right. You
earlier.
want her to have that ability.
Right. Which is cool, which is no problem. The problem that I have with that, me personally, I ain't going to speak for no one else, me personally. So you went out there and got a degree in whatever it may be, a master's, bachelor's, whatever. You spent 4 years at college and you racked up over $100,000 as school debt. But now you have a family and now you want to be a stay-at-home mom, right? Cool, not a problem. But guess what? That $100,000 has now been added to the family's debt. Who has to pay that on top of the kids, the family, the wife, and everything else if you're going to be a stay-at-home mother? See, that's the problem that I have when it comes to ladies who want to use their education as a notch. Like, oh, yeah, I got this. Okay, I get that. Congratulations, it's cool. But then they'll turn around and say, but I want to be a full-time mother. So why would you go to school and get all this racked up college debt if you know you want to be a full-time mother and don't contribute to any debts or bills around the house? That makes no sense to me.
So what's the alternative? What should a woman be?
Well, not what she should be. If you know you,
no, we're still talking about the topic, not the woman. The woman. I mean, the education for a woman.
Well, as far as education for the woman, it's just like this. If you know in the future you want to be a full-time mother, stay-at-home mother. Now, it's not for everybody, but for the ones who do know, and there's a lot of women who know they want to be full-time mothers. Like, I don't want to work. Once I get married, I'm done. Cool. If you know that's what you want to do, don't go out and rack up all these degrees in debt and expect that the man has to pay for everything. It's just that simple. Now, if you want to go to school, go in something in the field that do something where you can lead off and create your own business on the side. So, I mean, you could be a full-time mother, but also have your own business on the side where you can establish that and navigate that at the same time. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't be this. I mean, just know, like, logical. Think about it. That's why I had this debate, and we always say this: men are more logical than women, because men know when we go for these degrees, and not most men. When I know I was going to college for the degree that I'm in information technology. I knew at a young age that technology was going to be something that's going to constantly keep growing, and it will never get faded out. I could always find a position of work when it comes to hardware, software, web design, everything else. I'll never be out of a job. Now, will the pay change depending where I go? Yes. But I know in that field of work, I will never be out of a job. Not at all. Not my IT skill. Even now, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own system here. I have my own. I don't have a cameraman. I don't have an audio man. I don't have a video man. I have no editor. I'm all that. That's the benefit of me going to school and knowing what I want to do and knowing how I can apply for the rest of my life without causing any more debt for anyone else has to take on. So I'm not stressing my wife out talking about, hey, babe, can you come here and record me as I do this video? Oh, babe, can you hold a light over here for me? No. I can do those things all myself and still work a regular 9 to 5 job. That's what I'm saying. That I knew at a young age, I knew in this field I want to get into was a lifetime position that I know I could always have constant income, whatever may change with me personally. But with women, not all, some, you go for these big degrees. You want to be a doctor, you want to be this, and then you talk about, I want to open up my own office and all that stuff, but you didn't really plan these things out. Especially because you're a woman, you give life. You're guaranteed to be able to work for 9 months in a year. So if you have multiple kids, you're looking at 18 months out of work, point blank, period. That's the thing, the logic I think about. Who's going to maintain those resources? And not saying that all, but most women don't have a great concept of saving and putting money to the side. They want
But I
to.
think that's when it goes back to the family, because the family is for the man. Because while the man is in college, he ain't living no lifestyle that can afford him a woman and no family. He has to build his way up to that, and he's accumulating that same type of debt. Although his thought is that he's going to secure the bag, a greater enough bag for his family and himself. But like you just said, there is the opportunity for a woman to have an education and a side hustle or entrepreneurship or whatever that will allow her to be home with those children and to, still have some sort of income. So even if the relationship was she paid her own debt, okay, well, you're taking care of the home, you're taking care of the children, I'm taking care of my debt. Or, I'm doing this, and if in fact you take care of the debt, it becomes your burden, the husband's burden, or the provider. I'm not even going to say husband, because in some cases it might be the woman.
Right.
But whomever is the financial head of the household, that person taking on the debt, then it's still understood that the education should be beneficial in some way. And that's what we're saying. We're not trying to come for women who are educated or men who are educated. We're just saying, moving forward, when obtaining education, because it comes with something like the debt, right, that you need to take into consideration, just make sure that it makes sense for whatever family structure you're planning, whatever again, because this don't apply to the people that don't want family.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So this also don't apply to, certain people who don't want to take on the sole responsibility of head of household. Right. So if that's what your goal is, then you're working toward obtaining something substantial enough to be that person, to have that title. So you shouldn't be looking for the person next to you to do the same thing if they're not going to also possess that title. Only one person could be the head of the household.
Facts.
That's even when you found the practice.
Right. Right. Facts.
So we're not both trying to be the head of the household.
Only one person can do it. You're right.
So that's another thing. Now, because you don't want to say to a person either, okay, you do this, I do this, and now who's the head of the household? Because what you putting in, I'm putting in.
That part, yeah, that's true.
And I'm not talking about listening to nobody, or I'm not talking about that crazy stuff, whatever. I'm just talking about from the financial paperwork stance. Which one of us is going to claim the head of household if you want me to do what you're doing?
I mean, right.
So
there's always got to be a head. If you buy a car, there's always one there's always one head and one co-signer.
One owner, and a co-owner.
And a house, same thing. Car, same thing. House, whatever, everything. It's always, there can't be two heads. Even through, like you said, taxes, there got to be one head, and who's the co or whatever, head of house, and then, so I think that's the problem right there. We have to understand that there is always going to be levels to this. There's always going to be a head, and it's going to be the shoulder, the neck, and everything else. It just can't be two heads button every time. And as we say,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If it doesn't apply to you, then let it fly. But if you're raising young kids, you need to educate them, because we got to break this cycle that we're in right now. We got to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
If you
yeah. I think,
go ahead.
Can I just say before we go off, because when you talk about the head, the neck, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody, and I don't often share all of my opinions because I know they're not popular or whatever. And I've noticed in some instances where if I really share my views, people feel away. You
Okay.
know, they may not ever say anything to me. They just change up a little bit and say, all right, I'm sorry. But honestly, when it comes to a man being the head, the man is the body. If you really believe this thing, and this is not for everyone, like Twins was just saying, if it don't apply, please let it fly.
Butterfly.
But being a believer is the woman taken, was created from a man. God didn't take his whole neck down to create Eve. He
Facts.
didn't. He took one rib to create Eve.
Mm.
Therefore, the man was complete. He was a whole man. So when you talk about relationships and you talk about the roles and what this should be, it shouldn't be, you need to be a whole man. And the only thing should be missing from your life is a small part, just a small little piece. And if you think about the woman didn't exist. I'm nothing. I don't have no, and again, guys, this is Miss I Speak Life's view. I already know some of y'all women might try to kill me after saying this. Some of y'all men might want to, throw glass at my home. I'm just saying the woman wasn't even in existence prior to when she was created. She was created because it wasn't good for man to be alone.
Facts.
Not because it wasn't good for man to, have to take care of the home. That was all. He was already tasked with taking care of the garden. He was
Facts.
already tasked with taking care of himself. He was already tasked with all of these things that we're discussing as if it has something to do with the other. It doesn't. The head is the head because the head makes is the responsible, accountable one that makes those decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adam named everything under the sun. Eve didn't.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So if we don't change our lenses, we're gonna keep having this conversation in this way in a cycle, and I think it's gonna continue to spiral down because now men are saying, they're the prize and stuff. What? That doesn't even make any sense. You're the man, and you're gonna look for the woman that's gonna be your companion, somebody that can be in your presence and not annoy you.
Facts.
That's a big thing, guys.
That's it.
Think about it.
I love how you broke
You
that
can
down.
sit in her energy and you not be annoyed. That's companionship. You can bounce ideas off of her and not feel like she's forcing you to do. That's companionship. She don't need to be all these other, things that we keep putting in her place and interchanging and all this. Now we have to have, what is it called? Twins.
What?
In terms of interacting, some interchangeable. I don't know what. Anyway, I don't know.
It'll come
At
back
the
to
end
you.
of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, if you think about it, you want to only need a woman to be what the woman was intended to be. Because if you start looking for the woman to be other things, guess what? She's going to take on that persona. If you want her to start paying bills, she's going to take on the persona you wear paying bills. If you want her to start, cleaning the car and going to the car wash, she's going to take on the persona you wear as a man. And then you talk about masculine women. That's what's going to happen. And it's not going to be done correctly because it's not her place to do it. So when it come back and the car ain't waxed right, and it come back and this is out of order and out of place, well, guess what? It wasn't her job. So, and I like to use the analogy about the ducklings, the mother duckling, with her ducklings falling behind them, because this is how I feel my testimony is for me personally. You follow the mother duckling, and the one that's directly behind the mother duckling saw that the mother duckling stepped over the manhole. But the duckling is not big enough to step over the manhole. So this is what you can do. You could be that part of the society that just fall in the manhole, or you could be the one that lay down so the other ones can make it over. So, you have to choose. Then when they turn around, they'll pick you up. Now you can make it over as well. But we all for self. And what happens? We falling in this manhole. You can't be for self. Think about what, that's my thing. I know it's not popular. I don't share it often. I might get crucified for this anyway, but
well,
I said it.
But you know what? Thank you for saying it, because, as a man or any man, we wouldn't be able to say that exactly and without getting our heads chopped off. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes a woman to say something that makes sense. And I love women and we need y'all. So I'm not this is not like it's not like I'm happy over here saluting like that. You know what I'm saying? Was like she said earlier, the woman was created from the man's rib. And like she said, the man was doing everything prior to you get there. We named the horses, we made sure the garden was good, we did XYZ, but we didn't want to be alone. No man wants to be alone. So with that being said, if that small piece of us that came out of us that created you, you that little piece that's formed to a woman which we love to death, you can't be the headache. The small part of us that came out of it can't be that much headache to drive us crazy. It's a balance. But like I said, I just want to throw a little humor in there. But I love how you broke that down, and it makes sense, and it's the truth. Regardless how you feel, it's a fact. But we still need you, ladies. We still want you. We still need you. It's just simple. We just want everybody to play their part. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to go out there and kill the lion and bring it back so you can eat and the kids, cool. You know, and of course, I'm say what it is. We do have some weak men out there, so it is what it is. You know, no one's perfect across the board, right? But the majority of cases, most men who want to do right and be that leader, protector, provider, we understand that role that was given to us from the beginning of time, regardless if you believe or not. That's something that we always strive to do and maintain. But the maintain. Let's get back on the education part because we now dive into.
Yeah, but you can't be trying to do that to asking a woman what she brings to a table, and you ain't present a table to begin with.
Correct.
What table?
I
It's
mean,
an
that's
invisible
true too.
table.
That's true too. I mean, so I talked about this before. Dating
That
with a
shouldn't even
purpose.
be. That's why I say we subscribe to stuff that don't make sense to us. Like, do we really even agree with this conversation or this question to a woman? What do you bring to the table? Would you really approach the situation that way? If I don't agree fully, I'm not subscribing to it. I'm not asking no man, well, what do you have to offer me? What?
Yeah.
I just need to observe and you being a man.
And honestly,
wait, this is sidebar too, and a
go
little
ahead.
funny.
Go ahead.
I was talking to my sister, and twins, you're in the space with me all the time. I say I hate it here, and I say I want to wake up married. So my sisters, they know, we do Bible studies and Sunday fellowships and stuff like that. So for the most part, I try to have a biblical backing for whatever it is I'm trying to, explain or where we are in the world. You can always find yourself in the Word, is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister joked like, well, where do you find yourself at in the Word with that one? And I was like, well, when Eve woke up, honey girl child, she was married. She woke up married. So my sister cracked up. It was funny because
she'll know how she got there, but she woke up and got a man.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, just a little humor again. So yeah, go ahead, twins. Back to the seriousness. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all love. It's all love. But what you were saying about subscribing to that, what you bring to the table, I don't believe I've ever used that in a dating or even in marriage as far as what do you bring to the table, right? As I'm dating you, I'm asking questions to get to know you, see what your long terms, your short term goals are. That's how most men, or I speak for me. That's how I figure out what a woman brings to the table. I base off her character, the way that she moves, the way she works, how she navigates through her friends and family, how she deal with conflict situations, right? That's how that's what I'm saying. That's how I looked at as far as what she brings to the table. I never set a table with a woman and say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm twins, and you're okay. What do you bring to the table?" That conversation, I have never had that conversation. Never. I mean, it sounds good on YouTube and TV, everything else, but that's not how it really is supposed to go. I don't know if you ever been on a date and someone asks you what you bring to the table, but I
never.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell them companionship. That's gonna be my answer. If they did ask, ain't nobody asked. No one's asking the question, but if they did, I'm gonna be like companionship. Okay.
But also,
you don't want that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give you a little tip here, right? Anytime you ask somebody, what they dislike or like about you or anything like that, They're always gonna say things that that you want to hear, right? Because they want to either be with you or get with you or whatever case may be. You should start judging people based on their actions. You should base people how you see them navigate through their friends, meaning that when they get into conflict, how they act, how they talk about their exes, how they deal with their own mother and father, how they deal with their family members. Those are traits you need to look
Mhm.
at. When you go to her house, fellas, if you go to her house, how clean is her bathroom? How clean? Hopefully, you can make the bathroom. I walked in some girl's house and was like, oh, you know what? I'll be right back, and never came back because it was that dirty. So,
Oh
so,
God.
so yes, you may want to ask questions as far as get to know people. But once you have some questions, see how their actions are. See how you see them a
Mhm.
person, right? Use your brain. Now, this is education here. Use your brain here because people say things, but their actions say something totally different. So, and some people I know are very educated, but they live like slobs. Hope that makes sense.
Mhm. Because they feel entitled. They don't gotta clean. I don't gotta do this. I'm doing this. I'm making money. I'm educated. I'm this. I'm that.
Right. Are you gonna pay a
Mm-mm.
bill here?
It goes. It's a cycle. Once you in that energy, you feel like that. You take that on everywhere.
That's
That
true.
ain't just when you're. That's not just when you're talking to a potential, um, person to be in a relationship with. You really feel like that means something. Outside of that, it means something else. But yeah, I encourage people to, get their education,
Yes.
especially if you plan to, start a family as a man. And but even more so than get education, I teach my children how to network. My son's first event was a networking event. You need to know how to connect with people. You
Facts.
need to know how to, scale relationships. And I don't mean use people. I mean seize the moment, take opportunities, and be confident in who you are and what you have to offer, so you don't feel rejected when you're denied by a person or a company or one thing. That's just one out of so many. So it doesn't even touch your confidence. It's just, oh, that wasn't for me, or they missed out, one or the other. But not, oh, I gotta go fix myself, because no, 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 no.
Yes.
Your goal should always be to work on yourself. So going to fix yourself, you're not broken.
That's true. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And also, on the flip side, you know, always carry yourself professionally because you'll never know the one person that you don't like may turn around one day, might end up being your boss. So, or your boss's boss or the hiring manager. So you should always treat everyone with respect. It doesn't it you will receive a good notch on your belt if you can be the bigger person. I'll just say that. If you can be the bigger person, you will go far in life. You will go far in life
Hmm.
if you can be the bigger person instead of hold on to things, whatever. But I think that's an awesome thing that you did
Yeah.
with your son.
Don't
With
hold on to no grudge.
yeah, and I
That's
think
not healthy for
and that
you.
would and that was a beautiful thing that you did with your son. While I let him know that hey, your first event needs to be networking. You need to know who does what. Like you said, not to use, but you just never know who the future you grew up with being friends with, and y'all disconnect, and then later on in life you see each other, and y'all in the same business, and you're like, oh, I know you. What's up, fam? Long term. Oh, you go for this position here? I got you. Just go and kill it. I got you. You just don't know, right?
Hmm.
People put a good word in, like
Hmm.
so. It's
But then guess what? When those people do that, they've already gauged your caliber of person. Like what type of person you are. Where we met, how we interact, where do I
yes,
see you? It's no different than, like, sometimes we're in Clubhouse and people talk about their hallways. I think one time in the room, it's just like, okay, well, what type of rooms is in your hallway? Because your Clubhouse experience is a little different than mine,
right.
because of the rooms you choose to go in, or the people
You
you
follow.
choose to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't want to take accountability or responsibility for your interactions, for your experience. Guess what? You're experiencing these things because this is what you subscribe to.
Sidebar.
Nobody wants to hear that. I'm sorry.
Sidebar.
Go ahead.
Who mans is this? But
Hmm.
anyway,
Yes, yes.
all love.
Whose man is this?
Who
That's
man?
when the Twinsinc favorite line.
Who man is this? But yes, it just
Mm-hmm.
who you affiliate yourself with. That's all. But I mean,
Yeah.
these are things that what I'm saying that is very important when it does come to education, and then also what is important when it comes to education, which schools, colleges, and high schools are not teaching is learning about credit, learning about stock trading, investing. These things that we need to make sure we teach our young kids about at a young age. Like my goal is
Mm-hmm.
to make sure my kids at the age in their 20s they can buy a house. So when they get to 40
Mm-hmm.
years old, either the house is almost paid off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm gonna make sure they do a 15-year whatever. Shoot, by the time they hit 40, you may have two houses. But the point I'm trying to make is that is the education part is this is what they need to know. These life lessons, checking account, savings, all these things, investing, having wills, all those things. These are education that really matters because these are things going to help the community out and yourself. Just going to college and getting a degree just to say you have a big title, I'm a CEFO, elemental P, just so what? But what are you doing? How I understand you leave your old neighborhood and you do better, right? I get that part. Okay, cool, move out, not a problem. But when there's opportunities that you can help invest into your old community, donate whatever you can, do those things. You don't have to be there. Hell, you could be a quiet, what's the word, sponsor, whatever you want to call it. But
Mm-hmm.
do something. Or when you see something come across your table from the neighborhood or people that you may know, you could put a word in. But we're usually just very silent on those things and don't do nothing, and we just turn a blind eye.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, so all the education stuff don't mean nothing if you're not doing nothing for no one else besides yourself. I think we're
Right.
put on the earth one to, like I said, multiply. That's number one, but also pass on good knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Take your life experience
Mm-hmm.
and things that you did and pass it on to your kids or cousins or nephews and nieces, and make sure you give them the right education. Because honestly, education is important if you do it right. Now, if you do it wrong, you're just in the same rat race of the new age slavery. Just that simple. I said before, I'm gonna
Well,
say
I
it
think what
again.
you're saying is education. So it sounds like you compared it, but at the same time put it together. Because one thing is knowledge and education are a little different,
Hmm. I agree.
right? So you can obtain knowledge without being a product of the educational system.
True.
And that's the type of person that was able we spoke about very early on. I don't know if anyone was there or able to hear, but when you talked about the two that goes for the interview and the one that may be selected without the degree, but the talent and the knowledge of the position, right, qualifies them.
Hmm.
So when we talk about, because now we're coming to a close, guys, so this is kind of what we do. When we talk about how important is education, that's a pretty powerful question. How important is education? Is it important at all, or is it just because where education was important and the society aspect for Black folks, right? Because remember back when they were pushing kids to try to get in the schools, we couldn't get educated, right? That was a part of oppression,
Facts.
right?
Hmm.
But see, now that we're in a different time, what type of education do we want? Do we want to be knowledgeable and have credentials,
Hmm.
or do we want to have education and debt, etc.?
Exactly.
Because are we going to keep subscribing to that's a form of oppression if we know better when we get in these positions? Now that those that were selected to go to college, because remember that was the goal.
Yeah.
All right, y'all go to college so y'all could help the family. So now that we have those people in position, now you could just go ahead and start educating the family.
True.
Now you could go ahead and say, "Hey, I got this opportunity. I can be confident in this person because they went through our educational system. So I know they can do this, and now I can get them in a position and not be taking a chance on Pookie because it's
Pookie.
Pookie." You
Pookie.
you get what I'm saying?
No, I
Like
do.
the
I do.
cycle, it has a purpose, and we didn't complete it. The generation before us dropped the ball, honestly.
Yeah.
And I posted something that was it David Banner? No. Someone talked about this. How our grandfathers, had to trade, but then our fathers dropped the ball.
Yes.
They didn't go
Yes.
to school and bring the education back. That's what we're saying. So we're not talking about people who want their own way, going their own way, all these things. We're talking about people who say they're for the people, for the family, for the community. This is where education lacks importance. I feel like it lacks importance after one generation is educated. It needs to be a cycle. Okay, now we bring them up because guess what? These kids that are these other cultures,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to put them in a room and give them a test next to one of us, they probably do terrible because they're not even really paying attention to school. They are entitled. They don't feel like they really need this education.
No.
Because their daddies is such and such.
Yeah.
You
Already
get what I'm
lined up.
saying?
Already set for them. All you gotta do is
Yeah.
pass and.
They're only going through the process because it's a part of the mantle. It's a part of the lineage. It's a part of the name, right? You got to go to Howard because we go to Howard. But guess what? Strings was pulled to get them into Howard.
True.
So we're fighting against something that's not even for us. We just need to make sure that our system works. So education needs to be deemed a little less necessary in the way that we've been using it as weapons against one another. And let's position and posture ourselves for greatness and use the education that's in our communities, those that are educated within our communities, to pay it forward, to teach our young folks, and then we get the information that we actually need, such as Bitcoin and, what Twins was just talking about, equity and land and debt and risk. But we're not teaching it. We just keep sending our kids to the school, and we keep fighting against whether education and the debt of it should be paid by who, and guess what, guys? It's not important. It's not necessary. It's not helping us.
Nope, it's not.
That's my fuel. I know I don't have a popular opinion. I probably won't share it again, but this is recorded, so there you have it.
Oh, we're gonna share it. We're gonna share it. We're gonna make sure it gets out there so people can hear it. It needs to be said.
Look, don't have nobody bombing my house or throwing no bricks at me because they don't like what I say. Because people try to really comfy. But at the end of the day, this is my observation. And I'm not telling nobody what not to do. Do what you got to do for you. But if you look at the grand scheme of things and you yelling at the black woman and the black woman yelling at the man, and ain't neither one of y'all making no sense to talk about logic, I'm very logical and I'm a woman. It don't make no sense to me. When you could just use other words and really say, look, this is not necessary right now. So if your family is a family that can't afford college, and the only reason why you sending Pookie to college is for some daggone staple or just to be able to say y'all did it, because you want to feel accomplished.
That's
use
a problem.
that money to get y'all to another. Go buy a house. Go. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm. Let me shut up. I'm Miss I Speak Life. I'm not here to offend no one. This is my observation. I think that we really need to think about the way we make decisions and the why we make decisions, and understand that the word does say that my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Facts.
And we should love one another. So let's do that. Let's do that. Oh yeah, and women, they were created for companionship. I'm over and out. That's it. I have nothing else to say.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, listen, you dropped the mic. I don't got nothing else after that part. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in today. This is The Real Deal versus How You Feel. Please reach out to us for content if you want to get advertised or have questions or any topics you want to talk about. The Real Deal versus How You Feel at gmail.com. Also follows on Instagram as well. The Real Deal versus How You Feel. And also on YouTube. This is The Real Deal. This is How You Feel as well on YouTube. Also subscribe. Also, I don't know if she's still on or not, but I think 2 topics ago, maybe 3, Just Les gave the topic, and I want to give her a shout out for her. I can't think of the topic though, but I want to give her a big shout out anyway. That for one of the topics that she talked about. So, yes, baby, yes, people. If you have a
definitely.
topic,
And I saw that Keita came in as well. So shout out to all that was able to come through and listen. And we didn't have anyone share any comments today, which is kind of not the norm, but that's okay. We appreciate the love, the repost. We've gotten some good feedback even from Stereo. So shout out to Stereo. Thanks for coming through the inbox and
Right.
showing appreciation, and thanks for reposting and sharing our post and liking the post. We appreciate that. Yeah, we want money too, but that's okay. We'll take the likes and the love for right now.
Time is coming.
Right
You got to
now.
crawl
Yeah,
before
yeah.
you run. So we'll take the likes first, and then the likes gonna turn to cash, and we'll just go from there. But right now,
Word.
of course, we're not doing this for the money. The money is always a plus. We definitely take it, of course. But it's all about getting the information out there and having this open dialogue that we're having. And I believe it will come in
Right.
time.
So with this conversation, I wanted to close to say, how we have the real deal versus how you feel, family, relationships, education.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should change it to knowledge.
That's fine. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Because I think we, the people, put too many emphasis on education,
Mm-hmm.
and with that systematic thing, and not even realizing we're still part of the problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though we're not intentionally trying to be a part of the problem. So
I like it. Family, relationship, and knowledge. Let's do that. I like it.
Awesome. All right, guys, we will see you on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
For the real deal versus how you feel. Bye.
Later.
Hey, it's Big Legend, homie.